Alright, hello. I'm gonna do another video. First, I'm gonna start off by telling you guys some things that happened to me recently. Last weekend, I was in a car accident. It was my fault, but it was also a mixture of an experience. So, yeah, I'm okay, amazingly. I don't have a car anymore. My first car, Boomer, he's gone. My parents came up when they found out, and they were helping me with the insurance and all that because I don't know what to do with any of that. And so it's nice to get to see them for a few days, but you know, should have been under better circumstances. But with all that being said, I just do want to say, I said something on Facebook, but wear your seatbelt. I'm absolutely convinced that's the only reason that I'm still alive, is because I was wearing my seatbelt. My car did flip and I slid down a hill, but I'm okay. But my whole the whole front end of my car and like the hood is all smashed in, and so just wear your seatbelt. You know, it seems like a little thing, but it really does a lot when you're not thinking about it. So, there's my PSA for the day. So yeah, just wear your seatbelt, drive carefully, and pay attention when you're driving. I was fucking with my sunglasses, and I'm pretty sure that's what, started the whole thing. So, and I was going too fast, but lesson learned, unfortunately, in the most horrific way possible. But I want to thank Shannon for, literally saving my life, pulling me out of my car, and being there through it all, and, not letting me be alone. And then thanks to my parents for not being mad, but also being very stern about the lesson I had to learn. So I wanted to do a fun video this week after my rant, of things that we call our parents for. I got the idea because my parents had to call them after my accident, and they rushed over here 6 hours from that side to this side. And we do call our parents for a lot of things, like even when you move out and you're an adult. Like, I don't know, I'm only 19, but I still call my parents a lot over various things because I'm just learning, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna call my parents. And so I made a list because, obsessive about lists. Anywho, we call our parents when we're sick. Like towards the beginning of the summer, I was coughing a lot, and I was like, crap, I have bronchitis or something. And so I called my dad. He's like, oh, it's probably just your allergies, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I've never had my allergies like this. I was like, this is weird. And so it got pretty bad. So I went to the doctor, found out it is just my allergies, but because I'm on the east side of the state, it's different and it's a lot more aggressive. So he was right. Should have listened to him in the first place. We call our parents about car problems. Aside from my accident, my car overheated about a few days before my accident, and I called my mom and my dad. I was like, what do I do? I've never dealt with this. Like, is it gonna blow up? What do I do? And so he walked me through it, and he's like, no, it's fine. It's something you gotta deal with. Cars break down. That's the way of life. So I just dealt with that, and took some tips away from it from my parents as they told me what to do and how to figure it all out. Something else I call my parents about is I probably call my mom at least once every 2 weeks about something related to cooking. I was trying to make like chili mac or something, but not like chili and mac mixed together, but it was like a box combination. But I forgot ground beef, and that was like the biggest part of this. And I was like, yo, mom, if I just cook and cut up chicken breast, will that be the same thing? She's like, yeah, like it doesn't have to follow the instructions exactly. Whatever you want, and it will taste the same. And I didn't end up liking like the concoction. Like the meat was fine, it was just the box stuff was gross. I called my parents about when something hurts. Like, I had this weird thing on my arm. It was like, I have a scar somewhere, I don't know where it is. Oh, it's like right here, you can't really tell. But it looked like I had been burned or like stabbed with something. And I didn't end up calling my parents. I texted my best friend about it. I was like, what do you think this is? Pretty cool, right? And she's like, that's a spider bite. And so she had me draw a circle around it with Sharpie to make sure it didn't get any bigger. And so I did that, and it didn't get any bigger, but then it was like gross and pussy, so I put a band-aid over it. But I have the world's most like sensitive skin, and so the band-aids that I have are latex free, okay? Because I'm allergic to latex, or so I thought. I put these on and it fucked up my skin so royally. Turns out I'm just allergic to the adhesive and everything. So then I texted my mom and she's like, yeah, you just can't use band-aids. The big one we all call our parents about, money. I hate asking my parents for money, but struggling college student here, sometimes it's necessary. The last time I asked my dad for money was, towards the beginning of my math class. I had to get my math book, which is like $165, and so I was not gonna have the money for that in time to like get my math book for class. So I was like, Dad, please help, I'm struggling. And he's like, okay, I'll help you. And I'm like, thanks, I'm sorry for asking. But as much as I say I'm sorry for asking, I ask too much. So, I'm trying to work on that. With the crisis now of not having a car, it's gonna be harder for my job, but I'm just waiting for school to start so I can have my job on campus and hopefully get more hours. So, oops, thanks, Dad. Towards the last year when taxes were due, I called my parents. I was like, how do I do any of this? So lucky me, I didn't even have to do it. My mom took care of the paperwork for me. I sent her all my information and she just did it for me since I was confused, and she rocks. She's like, God, just send me the paperwork, I'll do it. I'm like, Mom, you're the best, thanks. So I got out of that one pretty easy. I call my parents pretty regularly about work. The job that I've had this summer, I love it. I love being around animals. It's just who I work with, They say that it's never ever gonna change. Work drama is just always there. Good God, it's annoying. Luckily, the only thing that's good that's come out of this job is, constantly getting to play with dogs and the good friend that I've made. And we both kind of hate everyone, so it's fun. But when I've had a particularly irritating or rough day at work, I'll get in the car and I'll just rant to my dad. He'll either laugh at me, be like, oh, I'm sorry, that sucks, or wow, that's dumb, or he won't necessarily say, be like, oh, just buck up and deal with it. He'll just, let me just ramble on for a bit, which is pretty awesome, because if you're watching this video, I just ramble forever, so. Something I call my dad about regularly would have to be computer problems. My laptop has taken a beating, not on purpose. I put it in my backpack for classes and pressure gets put on the screen, and so I have black dots all over my screen, and it kind of makes it hard to see things sometimes, but I'm dealing. And then it's just kind of been an asshole ever since I downloaded Windows 10. So I've had to call my dad and be like, how do I fix this? What does this mean? Sometimes I'm able to figure it out because I can use my phone to Google things when my computer's like stopped. But otherwise, if I just can't like find anything online or I don't know what I'm looking for, I'll call my dad. And he's like, oh, explain to me what's happening. And I try, and he's like, you're not making any sense. And I'm like, sorry, like, this is what I think is happening. And he's like, he knows how computers work and I don't. So what I'm describing is completely like just nonsense. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, maybe. I don't know what's going on. That's why I'm calling you. And so he gets a lot of like technological phone calls from me. Something recent that I had to call my mom about is I'm switching doctors from back home to over here. And so I just called my insurance, and trying to find a new doctor. And I was like, Mom, I don't know how to use this website. What is my insurance? What is this? What is that? What is this? And so I called her like 4 or 5 times in one day just because I was trying to navigate the website and like, what do I do? And so she walked me through everything, and so now I kind of have a handle on it. But then I had to apply for my own insurance plan because I'm 19 now, and oh my God, it was difficult and confusing. And I called my mom so many times because she's been through all this, she's done it all, and I'm a baby and I was lost, very confused on everything. I call my parents a lot for advice, and sometimes it's not always advice that I want to necessarily hear, but I did call them and they put their input in, so I just kind of have to deal with it. And then I call them a lot to complain about anything and everything, and sometimes I need to realize that they don't have 40 minutes a day for me to just ramble to them about the happenings in my life. And that's part of being a grown-up, is you just kind of internalize things and you deal with it on your own, and that's how it goes. And so that's what I'm learning to deal with. And then the last thing on my list is call them a lot because I miss them. There was a night about a few weeks ago that I was horribly homesick. I don't know what was wrong, but just couldn't stop sobbing. Called my mom. She didn't answer. Granted, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I left her a voicemail. Texted my brother. He's always up late. I was like, hey, is anyone awake? And so he called me and he's like, are you okay? And immediately I started sobbing. And I was like, I just miss you guys. I'm so sad, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, stop, I'm gonna cry. I'm like, I'm sorry. And so it was just a cry fest. And then I tried to go to bed. And then the next morning, my parents called me. They're like, are you okay? What's wrong? Oh my God, you called your brother? I was like, no, he called me. I was just sad. And my mom's like, we heard your voicemail. Are you okay? I was like, oh, I was just feeling really homesick, guys. I'm sorry. And so I do call them a lot because I miss them. Like I said before, it's hard being away from them, and so it's probably the majority of the reason that I call them. You know, there may be underlying, you know, things that I'm calling them for, but it's mainly because I miss them and I just want to talk to them. I just want to thank my parents. You know, thanks for, you know, first and foremost coming out this weekend after my car accident. Thanks for, you know, giving me advice and letting me complain and helping me with my random questions. And I love you guys. And you know, I do learn from the things you guys tell me, but at the same time, I don't always agree with some of the things, you know, that you guys say, but we're not always going to. So yeah, that's a wrap up. Thanks for watching this video, guys.